I hope I'm audible. Hope I'm audible enough. Can you guys actually hear me? If you can hear me, respond in the chat box. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So tonight we are just going to have a quick one. It's a lot of us here have been trading, so it's nothing so complex. All right, it's nothing so complex. Okay, so basically, this call is to show you guys how I trade FRX, and I'm sure a lot of persons here know that for a while I've been with FRX and HFX as well. So basically to show you how I take my FRX trades and also how to use the same strategy to trade in your HFX. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you guys is that strategy is strategy. When you know a strategy, it works on both FRX and HFX, okay? And this right here is an example of how I have traded in the past. Okay, I traded it right here, Euro GBP. So we're going to be starting with looking at some of the key things you'd have to look out for before you enter a trade or decide to trade a pair. Okay, for me, right? For me, once I the next big guy for me is Finviz. Now, Finviz shows you the top performers and the low performers in the market, okay? So now what I usually do is I trade the top performers against the low performers. Now, if I see, for example, I see JPY and NZD or AUD and NZD, you don't see me in the low area. You don't see me trading AUD NZD. You see me trading NZD USD. You see me trading USD JPY, AUD USD, all right? That is number one for me, all right? After checking the news, that is number one for me. Number two is technical analysis. Technical analysis is basically making trading decisions based on indicators and chart patterns. For me, lately, I've not been using indicators because I find it interesting to just trade the market as I see it. Okay, so tonight we'll be looking at a couple examples and how I actually take my trades. Now, one thing I take note of while trading is supply and demand areas in the market. Supply and demand areas. What I said about supply and demand areas and how to trade them. Who knows what supply and demand areas are in the Forex? Okay, someone is raising his hand. He wants to tell us that. Okay, the hand is off. Okay, um, from from um from the response in the chat box, I think not so many of us know what supply and demand is. Now, supply and demand is the driving force behind changes in price in the market. All right. When there are more buyers than sellers, the market will move up, obviously. And also conversely, when there are more sellers in the market, um, the market will move down. And when buyers and sellers are more or less in the market, the market will range. I'm sure all of us know all of. So how do we now identify supply and demand zones in the market? How do we identify supply and demand zones in the market? That's give me a minute, guys. Hold on, please. Okay, yeah, so I'm back. So let's go back in the past, right? Let's go back in the past and see some so yes, where were we? E word where? What currency pair were we on previous? GJ, I think. Okay, let's use GJ as an example. EJ, right? The EJ. Don't think it was EJ. My internet is horrible this night. My internet is horrible this night. Like that should be saying, where are the candles? They're not saying. Let me reload this again. Network is horrible. Sorry, guys. Very good. So, guys, I hope everybody can see the screen. Hope everyone can see the screen. So first, understand. Let's understand um supply and demand zones. Now, supply and demand zones are very, very, very different from support and resistance. Supply and demand zones are very different from support and resistance. Now, supply and demand zones, like I said before, are areas of resistance, and most of the times it's called selling zone. It's not a price. And these zones are where sellers perceive that there would be great selling potential at a relatively overbought price. Now, the reverse is also true for demand zone, is where buyers perceive that there will be great value to buy. Now, understanding the supply and demand zones, right? Supply and demand zones are observable areas on a Forex chart where price has approached many times in the past. Now, these zones are unlike the support and resistance. These zones, what happens to the network? Network feedback. So these zones are more closely than precise lines. What I mean is, for example, when we're doing support and resistance, we're just marking areas like this. Just marking areas like this. All right. But this time, we're not doing that. What we're doing is selecting zones. I say from here to here, this is a zone. Okay. So that's what we mean by they are zones. And as a trader, it is very, very important that you identify the supply and demand zones in the chart. Now, after the class, I'm going to send tips for identifying supply and demand zones in Forex. And number one of them is using a longer time frame. And that is why Alex would always tell you to start analyzing from the 1 week. From the 1 week, you'd be able to see a supply and demand zone. And obviously, I'm already seeing one. Where is one? Can anyone identify one? I can see one, the supply and demand zone. From this area all the way to the area, that zone. And here, right here, supply and demand. Right here is my demand zone. So I'll do this. So you have your supply and demand. As you go down, you keep identifying more and more and more and more. So after the class, I'm going to show you how, I'm going to send to the group how to identify these um, zones. There are even indicators that would help you to identify these zones. But let's come to the question of the night. How do we take trades on FRX and HFX? Okay, how do we do that? Now, I'm going to play back the past. Okay, I'm going to play back to the past and we'll try to use this as an example. Let's use this guy right here. Let me delete all of this. Let me delete all of this. Okay, let's use this guy for example. This market here. Right here. So let's say one morning you wake up and you meet this market at this point. Now, there are different conditions in the market, and sometimes it might not make sense to you, or it might not meet up to your strategy. All you have to do is to wait for that perfect setup. Okay. Now, I'm not using no indicators, I'm not using no stochastic or RSI, nothing. All I'm just going to do is see an area and work with that area. Okay. So now let's zoom out. Okay, great. So I'm going to mark out my areas, the areas that are obvious on my chart from where the market is right now. Okay, from where the market is right now. And one area I can see already is this top. It's not extensive, right? Have it right there. So step down to the 1 minute. So now this is my area. So now what this means is that I've met this market right here. And this is an area for me because I saw it from the past as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do is two things. It's either this market goes down this way, this market comes here and comes down this way, or it comes this way and breaks it through. Now, these are the two possibilities that I'm waiting for. But how do I know when one is about to happen? Because remember what we're doing here is we analyze to know what will happen and enter in the direction of what will happen. Okay. Now, this is what I'll do. I'll wait patiently to see how this market reacts. Now, I love to think of my trading strategy as number one, trend line strategy. Number two, trend line breakout strategy. Number three, um, zone breakout. Oh, this is not the right time. The breakout of zones, retest of zones, and respect of zones. Now I'm going, am I write that down? Let's write that down. The three ways that I trade is number one, respecting the trend line, respecting the trend line. Number two, breakout of the trend line, breakout of the trend line. Number three is what? Zones, respecting zones. Yes, not with it. So respecting zones and breakout of zones. Now, tonight we're going to see how all of these things play out and how easy they can be. Very, very easy. Super easy, right? So remember, I said I'm waiting for two things because I've identified this zone. So what I'm trading is either respecting zone or breakout of zone. So this is my strategy at this point because I did not draw any trend line. And it's not because I cannot draw a trend line, but it's what I feel like doing at the time. Okay, you can actually draw trend line, but the way this strategy is dynamic. You can choose to use it or choose to use the other one. Okay, so you can actually draw a trend line. All right, depending on what you see. Like I always say, trade what you see. Trade what you see. Okay, I love to do this. I love to. So now what I'm actually trading now is respecting zones or breakout of zones. So it's either this market hits this zone, comes down, keeps hitting it until it eventually breaks out. And when it breaks out, I don't enter. What do I do? Because I don't know how far it might go. I wait for a retest because sometimes when it breaks out, it might actually come back into that same zone and keep consolidating like that. And eventually, a trade you entered for a buy starts sinking. You don't want to ever be in that situation. So you want to trade the smart way. Okay, you want to trade the smart way. So now, what do? We wait. So like I said, it's either we have a breakout or we have a respect of this zone and this market starts coming down. Okay. Now, what I mean by I usually like to wait is look at this point. Where is this guy? Where's this guy? Where's this guy? Okay, wait. Look at this guy here, right here. Assuming I was in a hurry to trade that guy, I would be in a mess because he went outside my trend line. So I would say, oh, you don't break my trend line. Make I go sell the market. What happened? Market came back into the trend line. So that is why we usually wait. So we're going to take it step by step tonight. We've got time. We've got everything we need. I've got battery. So let's take it little by little. Now, we're going to let this market play out and see what happens. All right. Okay. Now, can you see what's happening? It's quietly respecting my zone. So we wait. It breaks. It breaks, guys. It breaks. Now, can you see? Can you see that it broke? Now, how would I know if I were to take this trade sell or if this affecting this place? I would have a candle like this. Can you see this candle? If you want me to zoom in, I can zoom in. So yeah, like I was saying, sorry for that. This candle right here, this particular red candle is what? Is a confirmation candle to tell me that, oh, Okay. Come on. I think I think my village. I think my village people do not want me to hold this class. Or anyways. So like I was saying, if you've attended the chat class having on iGenius, you'd know that you'd know what I'm talking about. Okay. I hope everybody can hear me, please. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you. So now this is not the end, it's not the win. It's not a signal for you to enter for a buy. Although some reckless traders do what? Do enter for a buy once it breaks. But what they do is they enter with a small lot size. All right. They enter with a small lot size, something that they can risk. All right. But for me, this is what I like to wait for. This is what I like to wait for. I like to wait for the market to make this move. Yes, baby girl. What's your all right? So I like to wait for this move. I like to wait for the sorry, not this. Let me erase all of that. Let me erase all of that. Okay, so this is the move I like to wait for. Boom. Back here, back here, and then boom. So this is the move I like to wait for. Okay. I don't care how far it might go up, but all I need is this area here. I want to see the market come right back to this place. Then, only then, depending on what I see here, depending on the indicators I find, the candles I find here, will I know whether the market is going to return back into this zone or do what? Return. So let's play and see if the market actually returns. Let's play to see if the market actually returns. Did you catch that? Let's extend this. Did you catch that? Did it come to our area or not, guys? Did the market return to our areas or not? It did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Now, who here can tell us the name of this candle? Or even if we don't know the name, what does it signify? This particular candle. Even if you don't know the name, what does it signify? Yes, it is a hammer. It can also be called a pin bar. Beautiful. What does it signify? What is it called? For those who have been doing their reading, what does it signify? What does it mean? Victor, Kabir, Victoria, what does it mean? We know it's a hammer now. Thank you. But what does it mean? What does it mean? Are we going to buy immediately when it comes to that? Levis, just hold on. That question is still going to be answered. Okay, Bridget says it signifies that sellers tried to pull price down, but buyers were strong enough to price back. Very smart. You've been reading. You have been reading. I am very, very happy about the responses we're getting here. A lot of persons have been reading. Nice. So this is a reversal candle. This guy right here is a reversal candle. But now, do you know the beautiful thing? You know one thing you should avoid? one thing you should avoid is trying to conclude that this guy is a hammer when the candle has not closed. So before you conclude that this guy is a hammer, maybe you met the market still on this candle, doing this up and down, up and down. You don't want to conclude. You want to wait and see that this guy actually closes as a hammer. And immediately this guy closes as a hammer, what do? You enter the trade straight up. I buy it. Okay. Now it shows that the market, okay, closed right here. So I buy it. I buy it. Now, where would be my take profits? My take profits, I like to look out for zones for my take profits. Okay, I like to look out for zones for my take profits. How do I get my take profits? Can you see this guy right here? I like to look out for zones for my take profits. This guy right here. Now, the reason I would pick this area is because of the number of respects I've gotten. Now, this guy respected here. Did you notice that I respected here as well? You notice respected here again. You notice that this guy has respected it as well. The number of respects we've gotten, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That area. Now, it doesn't mean that this market is not going to buy more than this, right? It doesn't mean it's not going to buy more than this, but because I am a disciplined trader, right? In fact, from Monday, what I'm doing now is targeting number of pips. Now, the reason I'm going out on 1 week is for me to be able to see previous areas, right? If you can see your previous areas on 1 day, fine, do it on 1 day. The reason I'm going back to 1 week is because it helps me see areas even better. Now, from Monday, I'll be trading with number of pips. I'll be targeting just 20 pips because I'll be trading with a very big lot size. So back to the matter, down to the 1 hour chart again. Yeah. Okay. Let's chart. Beautiful. Great. So now I enter my trade at this point, right? Like I said, I would be targeting 20 pips per trade. But let's just use the zone that we marked out. Where's that zone again? Forgot to extend it. Let's go back to 1 week. Okay, so this area, let me zoom in so I can get the area perfectly. This area, anywhere from here to here. Yeah, anywhere from here to here is perfect for me. Okay, so I step back down to the 1 hour. Great. Okay. I'm not quite seeing it. All right, okay, great. Yes. There we go. Let's get this out of the way. So yeah, so I get my long position too. This is where I enter the trade. Right here is where I enter the trade. So I drag this. It's my zone. Okay. Now there is one thing you'd have to know. While you're doing this in FRX, there will always be zones that will bring drawdowns. You see right here, market got here before and did what? Reversed. So we expect that when it gets to this area sometime, it will reverse a little bit before it even pushes back up, back to target. So how many pips do we have here? It says the amount of pips is what? 204 pips. Let's make sure of that. The ruler. Yeah, it's correct. 205 pips. Imagine gathering 205 pips. All right. The distance between here, this would be my TP1 because I don't know if the market will be strong enough to break here. Okay, so I'll set here as my TP1 for the first trade because I like taking 3 trades or 2 trades. So I set my TP1 at the first area I think it will reverse on the first trade. On the second trade, I set it on the TP2. Okay, so TP1 from here would be how many? About 60 8 pips. That's a lot for me. Okay, that is a lot. So we're going to do this. Enter the trade at this point. Now, risk, which is your stop loss. Like I always say, don't just set stop loss because you feel that this is the amount of pips you are willing to lose. Sometimes you might see a beautiful setup, but where you're seeing the risk level that's going to match up with your trade, that is safe enough, it might be very far that you're risking exactly how much you're going to gain. Listen to that again. Sometimes when you analyze in the market, it doesn't set up perfectly, right? Sometimes when you're looking at the proper zones where your stop loss is going to be, the proper zones. Remember, I said proper zone, not the areas you're willing to risk or how many pips you're willing to risk. There are areas where your stop loss is supposed to be. Sometimes those proper areas, you might be risking as much as you are willing to gain. What I mean is this. Sometimes you see your stop loss. This is how it looks. This is how it looks. Because this is a safe area, okay? And you're targeting 204 pips, and you're willing to lose 187 pips. That is not proper. Remember that in trading, risk to reward should be very, very, very sweet for you. Should be palatable, should be appetizing, okay? And that is why we riskly to make more. If you ever see a trade like this, right, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it, all right? So now, another thing I'd like to tell you is that you don't just place stop loss anywhere. Your stop loss should be protected by something. Your stop loss should have a protection, right? Your stop loss should have a protection, except you're ready to be on points to pull out. That means when your trade is going the other way, you are ready to close the trade in loss, okay? But you should be able to make sure that your stop loss has protection. And what is my protection for this stop loss? This magical zone right here. So I don't place my stop loss in here. No, because I know that the market can easily come back there. I place it in a zone where I know it is likely, it is very, very hard for the markets to get here. It's unlikely for the markets to get here. Okay, now let us play and see what happens. That gives you your second entry. Can you see that resist there? At that area, our first kick trader has closed at that area. We predicted that there was going to be a resist at that point. Let's see how the market plays out. Boom. Do you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? So our first trade closed at this point. Our second trade was still playing out, right? But look, hit TP and went beyond. Even still, it was still in our zones. Now you might tell me, oh, why didn't we set our TP inside here? Right? Let me see the questions in the box. Yeah, nice. So now you might remember we marked this zone, which means anywhere inside this box can be your TP. I personally am not greedy because one thing I always tell myself is that the market owes me nothing. The market owes you nothing. You should always ring that. In fact, it is pasted in front of my trading station. The market owes you nothing, Amani, right? the market owes you nothing. So you should be content with what the market gives you. All right. So now, like I was saying, this area, anywhere inside this area can be our take profits. And you can see that immediately you went outside this area, what happened? It came right back down. It came right back down. It came right back down. Okay. So now I like to take, at this instance, 204 pips is more than enough for me. So what I define inside here? What am I actually looking for here? Okay. What am I actually looking for in there? So you might choose halfway in, you might choose the other end. But one thing I am always sure of about these zones is that you see the gates. I call this first area the gates. The gates, the entrance. All right. You see that entrance, it must always hit. It always hits. Now, sometimes I'll set my take profit at this end. The market will get to the middle here and reverse. Don't take profit, and maybe I'm on my bed snoring. And what do I do? What do I see? The next morning, it has come into stop loss, or it has come down here, and I've lost all of this profit I would have made. So I like to take the safer option. So it is a choice. It's either you take the gates, the middle, or the fence. The gates, the middle, or the fence. That is me. Okay. Now, this is crazy, guys, because what we just made is 201 pips. What does this mean? Let us do the math. I like to do this a lot. Let's do the math. So what this means is that a person who uses okay, let's not do it the manual way. Let's not do it the manual way. Now, our entry was where? Give me the value for our entries. Euro, JPY. I like to use my pips calculator, profit and loss calculator. Euro, JPY. I'm just trying to show you possibilities. Went for a buy. What's the entry? Entry was 134.000. 134.000. 0.000. What's the closing price? Closing price is our TP, right? Closing price is what? 136.020. 136.020. Now, USD. What this means is that if you're using one lot size, you've made 1,867. If you're using 0.1, you have made $186. If you're using 0.01, you've made $18. And on a $100 account, this is the best you can use. And you're making $18 from just one analysis. Isn't that enough for you? Isn't that enough for you? Okay. So I think we'll have a question in the box. Let me look at the question. It says, do you always take your trade in same time frame, or you do sometimes go on smaller time frames? Okay, that is a very beautiful question. Some of the times I try to get my entry. Entry for me, analysis is done on the 1 hour. Entry for me is done on the 15 minutes. I like to be a sniper. I like to get that perfect entry. Okay. I like to get that perfect entry. All right. So I step down to the 15 minutes to get it. All right. But major analysis is done right here on the 1 hour. Now, let me elongate my guy. Great. All right. Now, can you see that everything aligns? This is a strategy. This is an all-in-one strategy. When this is working, that is also working. When your breakout is working, it's also following and respecting your trend line. So it's an all-in-one strategy. Now, you see how we've made money all of that. Now, if we're to enter another trade, right? If I've made money off this and I'm to take another entry, I would like someone to analyze from this point. Where would be your next point of entry? You can share your screen, or you can, if you're with your PC, you can request, what's it called? You can request control of my screen. I'll give that to you. So you show us, where do we go from here? Assuming we've traded this and we've made money off this, how do we move forward? You can also unmute yourself and explain. How do we move forward? No one wants to answer that. You can raise your hand and we'll be called to unmute yourself. No one knows what to do here. Levis, nice. Go ahead, Levis.
Good evening, coach.
Yeah, good evening, boss.
What I think we're going to do is for us to wait, let the candle play out of the supply zone. So I'm thinking if it tries to play out to the downside, we wait for a retest, then we take it for a sell. But if it try to break out of the supply zone, then wait for a retest for a buy. That's my own opinion, coach.
A sell?
No, for a buy. Do you get me, coach?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Levis, for that. Thank you. See, yeah, I got you. So yes, we got Cecilia. Cecilia, I'm trying to find you. Unmute yourself, Cecilia.
Hi, Amani. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Cecilia, if you can hear me, unmute yourself. Hi, Cecilia. Is it just me, or can we all not hear Cecilia?
Hi, Amani. Can you hear me, please?
You're still muted. I've asked you to unmute.
Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Coach Easy, can you help me unmute Cecilia, please?
I'm on mute. Everyone can hear me except
Amani,
you.
I think it's your network. We can hear her.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. I won't.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
you can hear me now.
Wow.
All right. I think our first take profit. That's the second. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me, please? Hello? Okay. I don't know if I can carry on. I'm trying to. The person I'm speaking to actually is Amani. I don't think I can carry on if he's not listening.
Great. Let me share my screen now. My network is so bad. It's unstable. So carry on. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying that if we, or rather, if the market sells back down, right, and come to our first take profits and around, I mean, I want to believe if it sells down to our first take profit, it will still be on the trend line. And yes, it will still be on the trend line. And with my eyes on Fibs level, that should probably be the demand zone. So I believe it would still take that. I mean, it's a previous ceiling. So I believe it would take that as a support and continue to go up. That's what I think it would do. So I would look for a respect of that zone and look for candles to confirm my entry. If the market is going to respect that point and continue to go up, or else if there's a break of structure that's below the trend line, then I would look for places, or rather a perfect entry for a sell.
Brilliant. 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 Thank you very much. Okay. Kunle says he has the same idea. Brilliant. I think the same. I think the same thing as well. So let's play the market and see exactly how it turns out. So like I said, like she just said, this area right here should be our next point of entry. After eating off this should be our next point of entry. Now let's play. Okay, I want to ask, what if we get something like this? The market doesn't push down here, but we get something like this guy. Do we enter? Do we enter? Because I mean, it's very close to the zone. The market has dropped. Do we enter? No, 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 no. Great. Yes. No, we don't enter. We allow it to come to our zone. Now, there's something I keep telling people. Do not chase the market. Trading is very simple. Do not chase the market. Allow the market come to you. Allow the market come to you. It will always come to you. Let's play and see. Let's play and see. And if it doesn't come, it's fine. If it doesn't come, it's fine. We eat off it another day. Let's see. I think we should make this faster. Oh shit, I just paused. Um, okay, I was trying to make it faster, but let's do this. Okay, we have some things in the chart. It says, I was going to say that the sweet spot on Fib looks good. I love the candle Netflix. Do you look at when the market gathering liquidity or take trade when it just come to your zone? Okay, that's a different strategy. I know someone, Jeffrey Benson, trades when the market is gathering liquidity. FX Professor trades when the market is gathering liquidity, but this is different. This is a strategy on its own. Now, do we see that after the market has played, now this is where patience comes in. Sometimes we are not patient enough and we take this trade here. What will happen? Definitely go out of profit. And the profit, the loss between here and here is massive. It's massive. Okay. So always wait. The market will come to you. It might not come now, but it will definitely come to you. And it did. Look at this. Now, on top of respecting our trend line, it went straight down this place. All right. It went straight down to this place. And we said that this is our entry for a trade. But now, do you know the sweet thing? You don't just immediately it comes here. My internet is not still again. Don't just enter immediately it comes here. Remember, we always wait for the close of the candle. It's a rule. We always wait for the close of the candle. And now this candle closed in our trend line. It confirms that our position is also nice. So what do? We take our long from there. Let's zoom in. I like to see this. Take our long from there. Okay. So what would be our next zone now? What would be our next zone? Let me see. Let me go out. Let's go outside. Let's see where it's likely to come to. Let's see where it's likely to come to. Nice. See why I like coming out on the weekly? All right, so I see an area already. I see an area already. Now, I would love to do here. Honestly speaking, I would love to do here because look at this. If I'm to be speaking honestly, all right? But I'll do TP1 and TP2. Remember, sometimes trades come to your TP2, sometimes it doesn't. That is why oftentimes it's best to take two positions so you don't miss out entirely. Okay, great. So now let's step back down to our. Okay, let's reset the chart. I hope this is interesting, guys. Do you find this interesting? Do you find this interesting? Okay. This is a bit outrageous for me because what am I going to do with this? Do you understand? What am I actually going to do with that? Over 1,000 pips. What would I do with that? That's where I see my zone. But this could take weeks. This could take days. Am I wrong? But this have an amount you want to percentage you want to make daily, and using your profit target and your profit calculator, calculate how many pips would be enough to make that. Calculate how for me. I'll just calculate. Oh, okay. What's the distance between here and here? This is 190 pips again. That is that is that is a lot So I'm content with this area. All right. I really don't know about you. For me, I personally am content with this area. Yeah, this area is my right there. My take profit. Right there, that's my TP. So now let's play this and see how it works out. I know you like this part. Let's play it. Okay, we didn't talk about the stop loss. It should also be protected. So here's my protection. And you see how easily I've taken profits. Easily, I've taken my profits and I'm out of the market. I'm out. And the market is taking a different turn. It didn't hit TP. Now, remember what I told you about having protection. It didn't hit SL. Having protection, we had a protection on that. So I was already out of the trade, but for some that were still in, there was a protection, a strong one. And there it goes. You're out. You're out. Now, do you see the importance of sticking to what? A plan. The importance of sticking to a plan. This is very, very crucial. Sticking to a plan. A person who would be waiting for 1,000 pips, waiting you define. Market stopped you out. But me, I'm content with this area because I know this is a madly strong area. Look at them wicking out. Okay, I'm content with that area. Came, I took it, and I'm fluffy. I'm fluffy. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Let's see how it plays out. For me, I'm not buying this trade anymore. For me, I'm not buying this trade anymore. Immediately it broke my trend line. I'm done with buying this trade. Can you see that? It broke my trend line. I'm done. Okay. Yeah, I want to exit. Let's see. So this guy broke our trend line. This is the outcome. Can you see that this area still remains a very strong area? Each time it comes here, it drops. So why don't you keep taking profit at that area? That area, that area, that area. So now, but there's one thing we want to always remember, that once market continues hitting an area, the more it hits it, the more that area becomes what? Weak. The more it hits it, the more that area becomes weak. Hit it again. Okay. So if it keeps hitting it, it's very likely that it might have a push downward that will come back and pew, when the market opens. Okay. So that is how I take my trades. Someone said we should do for a sell. Do we do that, or should we take the questions? Because I know you guys have a lot of questions. can ask your questions. This is almost 11. Okay, they say we should do for sale. All right, for sales, I'll use a pair that has been selling for quite some time. Euro USD, my baby that started misbehaving since last week. All right, look at what it's been doing. Mad consolidation. No, this is not even consolidation. This is choppiness. It's choppy. All right. So yeah, Euro USD is known as the king of respecting zone. Okay. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys is that when you see a trend, there is always a super trend. For every trend, there is a super trend. What do I mean? What do I mean by that? For every trend, there is a super trend. I'm looking for a part that would explain this. For every trend, there is a super trend. Now, you might meet this market here. Let's look at this market. This is on the 4 hours. All right, so let's even step down to the 1 hour. The 1 hour. Oh, my candle. Okay, great. Looking for the perfect example to. Okay, right here. One could easily conclude that this has started gradually becoming an uptrend. So now imagine you meet the market at this point, right here. Right here is where you meet the market. Let me okay. Right here is where you meet the market. Yes, I stick as well, mostly 1 hour. Okay. So now let's say you meet this. This is obviously becoming an uptrend because what gotten, remember, NEPA wire, mark up what you see, my brother. Okay, mark up what you see. NEPA wire, that's NEPA wire. Okay. So, but first of all, when I'm looking, I already see now. I'm not going to go through marking up areas because everybody here knows how to mark up, obvious. So immediately I come here, I've seen an area already with my mind's eye, and I'm marking it up. See this area? Here to here, shit. From here to here is an area for me. Okay, an area for me. This guy right here is a sub area for me as well. Okay. Now, one could easily conclude that this is becoming an uptrend. Trend don't change you, trend don't change you. But always remember that Amani says that there are super trends controlling a trend. Even when you see an uptrend, always be on the lookout for a super trend. Only when you don't see a super trend, or only when there is a breakout on that super trend, will you truly know that, okay, this market is really, really trendy. Okay. So now, at this point, one will be saying, oh, if it comes back here, I go take them for the buy. No, that's not what I see. I don't see me buying this market when it comes to this trend line. No, I don't see it me buying it when it comes here. No, that's not me. That's not my style of trading. What do? I mark up. I see it. I've seen a trend before. So where that trend they actually go? That's a question I ask myself. Where that trend they actually go is a downtrend. So this is what makes NEPA wire, like we've always been saying, for those in the other group. This is a trend, but it's very likely that this other former trend, super trend, right, is going to affect it. And it did. Okay, now let's play and see if this beautiful uptrend continues. For me, immediately this market hits this area and gives me this pullback. Can you see that candle? Like we explained before. Can you see that candle? A full candle. That is selling pressure. What do? I know that, oh, okay, this area is respected. Now, can you see how this area we marked up matches up with the trend line we've drawn? Can you see that? Now, if we were using a line, you'd see it as an intertwine. Look, at that point, exactly at that point, they cross each other. That is a very strong area. When this happens, I know that, it go bad. The same thing, you see this area here, this one right here. Whatever is going to happen here is going to be massive. Okay, so now that is that. Immediately I see that, I go for my sell position at the close of that candle right there. So where would my target be? My target would be the next zone I'm seeing. And where's the next zone I'm seeing? Because I'm not greedy, I see this. Now, the reason I'm taking this is because it's also within this trend line. Okay. So now, where would my SL be? My SL will have a protection, and which is this zone. Can you see how this trading strategy matches up? There's always a protection for your SL. Always. So right now, we're risking $62 to make 164. So that's like 1:2.5 or 3.5 rather. Okay. So let's play. Now, one thing I like to tell people is, as your trade is going, secure profits. Now, what secure profits is moving your SL. Now, remember, when you enter the trade, your stop loss is right here. But what I love to do once my trade gets at least 50% in profit is to move my stop loss to somewhere here. Not break even, no. Even if it comes back, I go chop small. Even if at $5, I'm okay. All right, not break even. I don't do that break even thing because I can't spend hours waiting for a trade only to come and break even. Okay, so let's play and continue. Always move your SL when you've gotten it. Secure profits. Can we see what happened? Now, can we see what happened? It hits our trend line and does what? Starts reversing. I don't know if it's going to get here, but once I see that, oh, at the point where the market came down, there was no space. There is no space anymore for it to get here based on my trend line. I might move it, but sometimes greed doesn't let me do that. All right, so I'm just going to let it go. Can you see what happened? Can you see what happened? Assuming I took note of this, and at this point, I was able to maybe, okay, I was able to adjust my guy to the level of the trend line right here, I would have taken profit. Greed is a very, very dangerous factor. Okay? Greed is a very, very dangerous factor. So assuming I took note of that on my trend line, I would bring up my TP here and close my trade at this level. But look at what happened. And look at the importance of setting your stop loss inside the trade. Okay, eventually, if something like this happens, you're still winning. Okay, you're still winning. So let's play the trade and see what eventually happens. Can you see what happened? Can you see what happened there? So this is actually stop loss hunt. It came hunting our stop loss, and it did. For those that didn't take profit, took you out of the trade and did what? It yanked right back. So this might be the banker's move to get everyone out first, and look, our trade melted. Okay, that trade melted. I could go on with giving you examples upon examples upon examples, but what's the use? You already know what we're doing here. We're respecting zones. Look at this. Our next point of entry, what is where? At this same area, because we had a zone here. So we just dragged it. Anywhere in this box, market breaks it now. Look again. Market breaks, comes for a retest. We enter, it goes. Now, remember the criteria for entering. We just don't enter. I look out for something. And what do I see there? I see one beautiful candle that is giving me joy. That's giving me the ginger to enter. What's that candle? Where is it? This is the candle. What do they call this candle, guys? What do they call this candle? Particular candle. Doji, exactly. And what is doji? Doji is also a reversal candle. Doji is a reversal candle. Immediately I see that, I enter my trade. Sorry. I enter my trade. Okay. I enter my trade once more. Where is it? Yeah. At that point, I take my trade. And what will be my take profit? Let's zoom out too. Okay, I see this. Anywhere in here. All right. Anywhere in here is okay for me. But like I told you, I have a number of pips I want to make each day. So I don't really wait for this, because before it gets here, the bankers know that, oh, a lot of persons have set CP here. So it might not really get there. Sometimes it won't on purpose. It won't, like what we just saw. It will come and then it will go back, spike everybody out before it comes back to hit there. So I like to just take my profits where they least expect. All right. So maybe at this point or at this point, anywhere, I take my profit. All right. But nonetheless, we're going to drag this guy down here. And let's play it out. Can you see that melt? Can you see that melt? Can you see that melt? It didn't hit our stop loss, and it melted. Boom. Give us another point for entry because they retested again. All right. They retested right there. And those that entered that have been in a little bit of profit. So that is basically it, guys. Let's take your questions. Let's take your questions. Let's take your questions so that we can call it a night. You can indicate and unmute you. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Let me unmute you.
Hi again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What are your favorite pairs to trade and why do you trade them?
Okay. Now, like I said, I come to Finviz to check out pairs to trade. But personally, I have favorite pairs, and one of my favorite pairs is Euro USD. Okay. But for the past week, I've not traded Euro US. But that's like 2 weeks now, and I've not traded Euro US. Why? Because I noticed it's been misbehaving. So you need to study a pair and know exactly when this pair is misbehaving so you avoid it. All right. And when this pair is behaving. Now, Euro US is one of the sweetest pairs. GBP JPY is another sweet pair. USD JPY is a wonderful pair. AUD CHF, it's an amazing pair. But you see the one that would give you more pips with a very tiny look of movement is GJ. You see this guy right here? This guy is blood money. This guy is blood money. Now, let me show you guys something that I did. Those leaving the call, that is all right. But here is the interesting part. Chart patterns are very, 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 very interesting. How many persons know what chart patterns are? Very, very interesting. Now, this was a trade I analyzed on, I've forgotten the day, but I did analyze it. This is what I did. I identified this as a flag. I identified this as a flag. Sorry, let's play this backwards. Yeah. So I identified this as a flag. For those who's been reading, you know exactly what a flag is. So what I'm expecting from here is what? This, something like this, a breakout, a retest, and then to the moon. All right. So my entry is somewhere around, actually somewhere around here. Okay. Now I traded this pair and it was wonders. That was when I discovered that GJ can give you money with little moves. Little moves, GJ can bless you. Now look at what happened. Broke out, I didn't take it. Tested, got in. And then look at that. Look at that. So we got our retracement. Why are you stuck on that? So we got our retracement right here. Okay, and we took our trade. Now I entered at this point. Why? Because I was combining my expectations with a roof that I can see. This is a roof. So I expected that it's either it comes right down here or it touches here and moves back. And it did come down a little bit. Okay. So now let's calculate how many pips this is. Can you see this, guys?
Yes.
With this little movement, 136 pips. That's GJ for you. So that's another pair to look out for. So I've mentioned 3 pairs: Euro USD, GBP JPY, USD JPY. That's my favorite pairs. So any more questions, Cecilia?
Okay. No questions for now. You also mentioned AUDCHF.
Yeah, AUDCHF is beautiful. But you see,
Does this work on gold?
AUD card, leave that guy alone. That guy has it has no goal in this life. It can go any direction, any day, any way.
Then he has no gold. Does this work on gold or commodities? This strategy
This
works
strategy
on
works
anything, right? Not
perfectly
just
on gold.
currency pairs.
It works
Perfectly.
on gold. You
Okay.
can ask Jojo. Jojo
Oh,
has been
wow.
using
Okay.
this strategy on gold. Next point of entry.
Mm.
So more questions before we call it a night. Look, it comes here, we take it, it leaves. It leaves.
Wow.
So guys, the same way we've been doing this right here, I forgot. Same way we've been doing this right here, we can do it on HFX. Oh yeah, somebody already said it.
Yeah.
The same way we've been doing this right here. Step down to the 5 minutes. So step down to the 5 minutes. As long as it's a, now, let me tell you, in trading, one thing you have to look out for is for a trending market. Once you see a trending market, you don't be for that market. You're made. Now on, yeah, I'll send that later. So like I was saying, once you identify a trending market, it don't be. On, I think that was on Friday, I went 21-4 on a particular account, 21 wins and 4 losses on a particular account. And I was posting in the group, you guys saw it. And this was what was going on. Simply a trending market. Simply a trending market was what was going on. Now let's how did I identify this place as a trending market? Now, what identifies a place as, what confirms a trend is 2 touches. Once it has 2 touches, it has been confirmed as trend line worthy. It has been identified, or yeah, trend line worthy. So we got 1 touch here. We got another touch here, right here. So this has become what? Trend line worthy.
Ready.
Yeah. So now, NEPA wire way. We saw this, so definitely we mark up what we see. Okay, this might be useful in the future. Okay, but this guy right here is our main focus. Yeah, main focus. So now the same thing with the top. What confirms top also is 2 touches, and we've had 2 touches. Had one here, one here. Okay, let's go. No. Yeah, right from here. Beautiful. Beautiful. Market is beautiful. So I'll just do extend left, right, okay. Okay, yes. So now this is the point where I say eating off this market. Just watch. Just watch. No indicators whatsoever telling you, oh, it's overbought, it's oversold. That's nonsense. No. Identify a trending market and do it. So let's play this out. Whenever it comes to our trend line, we take it. Look at this point. We enter. Usually I decide to enter for 2 to 3 minutes. It's just whatever comes to my head. Do you draw your trend line on week or body? Like I told you, I draw it on what I see. I see week, I draw it. I see body, I draw it. Okay? So, but I draw the part that has the most touches. If the body has the most touches, I take it there. If the week has the most touches, I take it there. If the body and the week has both the most touches, I take it both the week and the body and I mark it. All right. So like I said, I take this trade 2 to 3 minutes, depending on what I feel like it's. Okay. But one mistake I don't make is trying to take it 1 minute. The only thing I can take 1 minute here is if it comes to this zone here. I know there's going to be a quick pushback, but I take it for 1 minute. Okay. So let's keep going. This is let's keep counting them. This is let's clean every other one so that we can count how many trades we've taken on just GJ. That's if you choose to do one entry per zone, per touch rather. Okay, let's count it. 1. Let's go. 2. I'll take these guys or these 2 guys here. 2, 3, 4 for me. I'll wait. That's 4 trades. This will require patience. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you see that? Do you see that? The idea is what? Take it till it leaves you. Take it till it leaves you. Now, the thing is, you won't be able to tell when it has ended, right? But take it till it leaves you. How do you know that it has ended? When it breaks out of your line and continues down. Now, remember that the breakout, test, retest, and continuation is what always happens. It breaks out, it retests, and it continues its way down. It will always happen in the market. Always. Okay. So immediately we see this breakout, we don't rest. Okay. Except we see that the market actually does what? Immediately after the breakout, it plays right back in, retests this area, then we know say, oh, okay, that was a fake out. We continued with our playing. But remember how many trades we've taken and how many losses we've had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For our loss count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll take 2 trades here. Okay, so depending on you, this is what I did, and I ate off J. Same thing with J, Euro JPY. Identify the trend and follow it. Okay, we have Levy's iPhone. Ask your question. Let me unmute. Let's make it snappy, please, so that we can end the session. Almost 11:30.
Good evening.
Good evening,
You said you normally take Euro USD. Do you normally focus on the DSY, or you just when you do your supply and your demands and your trade line, you just look out for your zone and take the market there when you get there? And more so about the GJ you're talking about, do you normally focus on the JXY as well too, and the Euro too? That's EXY. I hope you understand me.
Yeah, I get you. That's seeing what these pairs are doing on their own.
Yes.
I get you.
Yes.
Now, I don't do all of that. It's not my strategy. I'm not saying it's bad practice to do that. It is a wonderful practice to do that. Personally, I don't do it. Personally, this is enough for me. This right here is enough for me. As long as I see Euro, like we're doing GJ, as long as I see JPY at the lower side of this and GBP at the top, I know that, oh, GBP will be performing nice today. GBP will be performing nice today. And I keep very close watch on this because this actually switches from time to time. Okay, so whenever I see, oh, GBP don't they come the lower side, though, I know that very soon there's going to be a break. And we can see that that happened. This is not so far from when markets closed. And that's exactly what happened. GBP had already started losing momentum from number one when I started trading it right down here. I don't check DXY or EXY or JXY. No, I don't do that. Once I mark out my supply demand, my zones, I'm good. Yes, FRX. FRX. So I think that's all your questions. Cecilia, go ahead.
I'm not asking any question. I didn't raise up my hand. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yes,
good.
thank you so much.
All right. I hope everybody had a wonderful session. There is more to this, but we can't just do everything today. Okay. But believe me, this part you've known will earn you a lot. And from the signals I'll be dropping in the group from Monday, you'd see that this is exactly how I generate them. When you check them on your chart, you will see that this is exactly how it generates them. Yes, the session is recorded. Do you use your strategy on crypto? I have not tried it on crypto, but very soon I will do that. I've not tried it on crypto. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you, Coach Isaiah, for putting on this platform for everybody to learn. We appreciate all that you do.